Today, I'm diving headfirst into the pages of D&D to bring you 5 of the most unique spells ever released for 5th edition. So pop open your spellbook and get ready as I take you through 5 super unique spells for D&D 5e. Let's start off big with a personal favorite spell of mine, Guardian of Nature. This is a 4th level spell that empowers you with one of 2 potential nature spirits, being either Primal Beast or Great Tree, with each granting their own unique benefits. The Primal Beast transforms you into a more feral form, focusing more on offensive ability, granting 4 benefits. It increases your movement speed by 10 feet, provides dark vision out to 120 feet, you gain advantage on all strength-based attacks, and your melee attacks deal an extra d6 of force damage. The Great Tree, on the other hand, transforms you into a more tree-like visage that focuses more on a defensive strategy with 4 other benefits. You gain 10 temporary hit points, you make Constitution saving throws with advantage, you make Dexterity and Wisdom-based attacks with advantage, and the ground around you within 15 feet becomes difficult terrain for enemies. This spell is unique because of the variety of benefits it can potentially provide you and your group. If you want to be more aggressive, you can transform into a Primal Beast and overwhelm your enemies with your extra movement and damage on physical strikes. But if you want to be more strategic, you can transform into the Great Tree and lock down your enemies with your difficult terrain and be a nuisance with your Dexterity and Wisdom-based attacks. The spell itself isn't super powerful compared to other 4th level spells, but it provides enough utility that I believe it deserving to be on this unique spells list. For the next spell, we have a relatively new addition to 5e with Antagonize. You whisper magical words to antagonize a creature within 30 feet. That creature must make a Wisdom saving throw or take 44 damage and immediately use a reaction to attack a creature of your choice within its melee range. However, if there's no creature in melee range, then it just has disadvantage on its next attack. This is a super unique spell that deals some damage and disrupts enemies. The damage might sound negligible, but that's because it is. It's very negligible. Since the spell also deals damage with that creature's potential attack against another creature, you have to calculate that into the potential damage this spell could do. And even if they don't attack, it does a great job at disrupting enemies because it effectively steals their reaction and at least inflicts disadvantage on their next attack, which is nothing to scoff at. And while this spell is definitely unique, I do have to say this is pretty much just a glorified save or suck spell. If a creature succeeds on their saving throw, then they just take half damage of 4d4 and that's it. That's like nothing. So considering that, when you go to use this spell, you should really consider what creatures you cast it on. Casting this on something like an ogre is much more effective than casting it on something like a wizard, and not just because their wisdom saving throws are different, but also consider the melee attack damage they could deal. And if possible, you should make sure to pair this spell with other spells or abilities to ensure that they fail their save to get the most out of the spell. So if you're feeling a bit antagonistic, then take up Antagonize because that's quite literally the purpose of this spell. Next, we have a spell that has caused me as a DM quite a lot of frustration, and that is the 4th level Confusion. This spell assaults creatures' minds, spawning delusions and provoking uncontrollable actions. Each creature within a 10-foot radius of a point you can see within 90 feet must make a Wisdom saving throw or become confused. Confused creatures can't take reactions and just roll their dice for their turn, meaning that they have an 80% chance to not do what they want to do. At the start of their turn, they roll a d10, and that d10 roll determines their actions they take for that round. On a 1, they just run in a random direction. On a 2 to 6, they just don't take an action. On a 7 to 8, they attack a random creature within range if possible, and if not, then they do nothing. And on a 9 to 10, they get to act normally. So if a creature fails their save, they have only a 20% chance to act how they want on their turn, and they can remake their save at the end of each of their turns thereafter. Now this spell might sound boring, but trust me, it can very easily just turn around an entire encounter. Since it's AoE, it can affect a large number of creatures, and you can even upcast it to increase the radius. The spell has saved my players more than one time, and has definitely created some of the more frustrating memories I have as a DM in the past years. So if you want to control a large group of enemies, and albeit frustrate your DM, then pick up Confusion because there's really no better spell to do so. For spell number 4, we have a new one added with the Book of Many Things called Spray of Cards. This is a 2nd level spell that sprays spectral cards in a 15-foot cone in front of the caster. Any creature within that cone must make a Dexterity saving throw, taking 2d10 damage, and become blinded until the end of their next turn. The damage on average is comparable to the level 1 Burning Hands, being 11 comparable to Burning Hands 10.5, but the blind effect takes this spell to a whole nother level. A blinded creature has disadvantage on any attack it makes, and any attack against it has advantage. So while the damage it deals is comparable to a first level spell, it enables you and your allies to deal more damage, which makes this spell much more valuable. And let's not forget, this spell also deals force damage. Force damage is an incredibly powerful damage type because it is very rarely resisted. So between the force damage and empowering your party with the potential of dealing more damage, it very much makes up for the mediocre base damage. I just said damage 3 times in one sentence, wow. So if you want a better conal spell to bridge the gap between when you get Cone of Cold, then pick up Spray of Cards because it definitely fits the bill. Before we move on, I want to point out that there are a bunch of awesome spells in 5th edition that rarely get a chance to shine. So if you think I missed any, make sure you leave a comment now and let me know, and who knows, I might even feature your comment in the next video. Now for the final spell, we're moving into the realm of healing with the 2nd level Healing Spirit. You call forth a nature spirit to soothe the wounded at a point you can see within 60 feet. Whenever a creature of your choice moves into that space for the first time on their turn, they heal 1d6. This occurs to any creature of your choice with no reaction necessary, meaning you can just pop this down and your allies can move through it continually to just keep getting healed. You can also move the spirit up to 30 feet as a bonus action as well, meaning that you could technically move this around the battlefield to heal multiple allies. The spirit can heal a number of times equal to 1 plus your spellcasting ability modifier, meaning that you'll likely heal anywhere from 3 to 5 times in the early levels and all the way up to 10 times in the higher levels. And I almost forgot, you can even upcast the spell to increase the amount healed overall, meaning that this just doubled in value. Realistically, this spell could compete with other spells like Aura of Vitality for some extra bonus action healing, but technically it also has the added benefit of not really requiring your bonus action to do anything with it. So considering that, Healing Spirit is another great option for a versatile healing spell. But that's it for today. If you want to see more unique spells, make sure you check out the playlist in the corners or in the description box below. Also, if you have any spells you think I might have missed, leave a comment now and let me know. I read every comment, almost always reply, and who knows, I might even feature your comment in the next video. Thank you very much for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you on Friday.